Hey guys, thanks for watching. It's Dustin with 24/7 Cichlids. If it's your first time, hit the subscribe button and ding the notification bell to get all my updates. If you're returning, thank you for watching, and I appreciate your support. Today I'm going to be doing a video on my water changes. Recently I saw a video from Adam C. His water changes are very similar to how I do mine. I do mine a little bit different, so I'm going to just do a quick video on how I do it. Alright, so this tank hasn't been cleaned in about 3 weeks, and you can see there's a buildup of algae right there. Not a lot, but enough to bother me. So today I'm not only going to do the water change, but I'm also going to clean Sun filter and my Fluval FX6, as well as clean the interior wave makers, heater, basically everything inside the tank. I'll scrub the rocks. I'm not really going to do much of a gravel vac, but it's going to I'm just going to level it out, basically piss all the fish off because they've made their nice little holes here to for their territory. So anyways, let's get to it. So if you're wondering, I use one of my Fluval FX4, FX6 pads. Comes with 4 of them. I only use one of them because I replaced it with filter floss, polyfill filter floss. So this works good. I usually use this side with the ridges to wipe the glass and such, because if any gravel gets trapped into it, I can easily tap it out and I don't need to worry about it pressing directly on it. All right, so the filter's clean. All I do to change the water is hook up my Python to the utility sink out in the garage and let it drain. It doesn't take that long. Let's see, so it's been running for about 2 minutes. It's 6:37. So we'll let it go down. I'll do a time check and then I'll show you what I do when I do the fill up. All right, so I wanted to go over the products I use. I keep it simple. I use Safe. I think anyone knows when you have big tanks or multiple tanks, Safe is the way to go. Prime, you know, it's the liquid form, but you would just use a ton of it doing water changes for multiple tanks or big tanks. So yeah, Safe's the way to go. Even if you have small tanks, I mean, this lasts a long time. 2.2 pounds. Yeah. And then I use Seachem's Cichlid Lake Salt. I actually use Seachem's products, and I also use Continuum Aquatics. Continuum has really good products. I like this. As far as the buffer goes, I prefer Continuum's buffer over the Malawi buffer from Seachem. This for some reason works a lot better. Typically with the Seachem stuff, from what I've noticed, is the carbonate hardness and the pH, they swing drastically. This Continuum stuff, I don't know if it's just different makeup. You know, the ingredients, there isn't really much, but I'm sure there's some proprietary blends. You can see alkaline salts, carbonate, bicarbonate, sulfate, and borate. I don't even think there's any ingredients here on Seachem's. Anyways, I recommend, if someone would ask me, I recommend Continuum Aquatics Malawi buffer over the Seachem buffer. I feel like it just does a better job. I don't need to add as much. It keeps the tank stable. I like to have my pH a little higher. I usually keep it around 8.4. Yeah, most people do 8, 8.2. These are the products I use. I typically will add Safe first, and in small amounts. I don't do the whole amount. You can see here, you need basically a 1/4 teaspoon for every 300 gallons. So there's the 1/4 teaspoon. I don't know if you get it. So it's just a tiny amount. You can see there's my finger. Does 300 gallons. So this goes a long ways. So I'll do probably half a scoop at the beginning, and then I'll just do a little bit throughout as the tank's filling up. Same thing with the cichlid salt and the buffer. I'll add a little bit at a time as the tank's filling up. The last thing I add after the tank's all the way filled up is some fresh bacteria. Probably doesn't need it. I just do a little bit. I found that this Brightwell Aquatics is by far the best bacteria you could buy on the market. It's not too pricey. This is 2 liters or almost 68 ounces. It's about $37, so it's not, it doesn't break the bank. But honestly, for, you can see here, you can use half a cap. So half of these large caps for 50 gallons. So one of these caps for 100 gallons. So I usually do 2 capfuls every water change, and it seems to be working. All right, so it took 28 minutes to get this thing drained down. I just flipped it over. So now we're putting water back in. I added a little bit of Safe, and I'm gonna do a little bit more right now. You can see just a tiny bit, not much. So that's in, and it fills pretty quickly. Usually it takes me under an hour to do this 120 gallon, you know, even at a 75% water change. So, all right now I'm gonna add a little bit of the lake salt because I want to re-mineralize the water. So I just sprinkle a little bit in, not much. Doing a cool top-down shot. I always find it interesting to watch the fish swim from the top. Alright, so I'm gonna check the pH here with my digital pH meter. I haven't added any buffer yet. Alright, so 7.7 is where it's stabilized at. And that's because my tap water out of here is it's about 7.2, so it's just above neutral. So I'm going to grab some buffer and sprinkle it in. Dissolves pretty quickly. Sometimes they try to eat it as it's going down, thinking it's some brine shrimp or something. Alright, we'll let that go for a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit, again, a little bit of safe. Just a tad bit, not much. This stuff is strong. You can see tank's about half full right now, maybe a little bit above half full. So it's filling up pretty quick. I made sure I checked the temp, so I run hot and cold when I'm filling up, so there's not a temperature shock. I check it. I've been doing it a while, so I check it usually just with my hand. I could tell if it's the same temp as the tank, and then put it in. If it's within a few degrees, it's not going to hurt them. But huge temperature swings are what's going to shock them. But you can see they're fine. They always get re-energized. You could tell when you put a lot of clean water in the tank. You can see them, they get frisky. Alright, so I'm just checking the pH after buffering it. You can see just a little bit of buffer of that continuum. And it's stabilized at 8.6. So, you know, I've been told huge swings in pH can cause a lot of shock. Honestly, I haven't experienced it. I've experienced shock when the pH has been too low, you know, way too low, like acidic water. I had a tank years ago, and I mixed African cichlids with Central American cichlids, and had issues with the water, the pH. You can see it's slightly dropping. That's because of the water that I'm putting in, the new water. But you can see this continuum, it's pretty good stuff. It'll probably get down to 8.2. See, I'll swirl it a little bit. But I'll probably buffer it one more time, and then it should be good to go. I'm not going to put any more salt in there. Salt helps add some KH and DH to the water, which also helps the pH stabilize. So I'm going to do a little bit more safe, a little bit more buffer, and at the end I'll just add some bacteria and it'll be good to go. Alright, so here's the tank all filled up. Took me a total of 40 minutes to get this, at least on the water change part. And it took about another hour to get the filter clean, all the little parts, you know, wave makers and everything clean. But fish are happy. Here's a little shot. Alright, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time to my channel. Hit the notification bell.